On our right, I've got a small glass tower block. It's called Kent's House. Makes up part of ITV, Independent Television Studios. It's where they broadcast from over here on the right-hand side. Like the news and the morning show that's on from Monday to Saturday with Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby. That's broadcast just past the building. It's this little white building on our right. You often see the boats travelling up in the background. Now the white vessel on our left with a yellow funnel, this is the Wellington. She used to be the flagship of the Royal New Zealand Navy. She's now permanently moored here and is the only floating livery hall in the world. She's a livery hall to the Honourable Company of Master Mariners. Behind the stern of the Wellington is a stone archway. That's Temple Gate and Arch, and that marks the boundary lines between the two cities. City of Westminster we just left, and the City of London we've just entered. City of London is one of the smallest cities in the world, just 1 square mile. Greater London now covers a distance of 650 square miles. The Oxo Tower on our right hand side, it's where they used to make that famous stock cube. It's not made there anymore though. The bottom 2 floors, they're shops. We have apartments in the middle and a very nice Harvey Nichols restaurant at the top. The black and white vessel on our left, this is the President's. There was 2 of these captured off of the German Navy and moored here for a number of years as a training grounds for the Royal Naval Reserves. They've been given a new base down just below the town. The President now, you can hire her out, is a venue ship. You can have different functions on there. She doesn't go anywhere. And her sister ship, the Chrysanthemum, was taken away and scuttled in an Indiana Jones film. The red brick building on our left in the Gothic style is Zion College. It's a college for the Anglican clergy. They do boast over 100,000 volumes of theological works, including Queen Victoria's personal Bible and the first English edition Bible printed on William Caxton's press. Ahead of us we have the Blackfriars Road Bridge. Now if you have a look on each of the buttresses of this bridge, you'll notice that they represent church pulpits. Now these was placed here under the express wish of Queen Victoria to commemorate a Dominican monastery which stood over on the left hand side. They wore a habit of black, hence the name Blackfriars. The Italian columns, these actually come from the old monastery itself. Around the top you'll see all these different carvings of different types of waterfowl that we have out here on the Thames. On the upper side here, these are all freshwater birds, and on the lower side we have seawater birds or saltwater birds. It's where the 2 waters meet. London's what's known as a brackish water. It's where the freshwater water meets the salt water. All you see on the next bridge are these red painted columns. This is all that's left of Brunel. St Paul's Railway Bridge carried the first steam trains from London to Chatham and Dover. The last column here has been incorporated with the Blackfriars Railway Bridge. It's undergoing a £500 million facelift on the bridge. They've actually brought Blackfriars Station from the North Shore right across the bridge over to the South Shore as well. On our right, the building with a tall chimney. This is the old Bankside Power Station designed by Giles Gilbert Scott. He also designed Battersea Power Station about 3 miles behind us. Liverpool Cathedral, the Anglican one, and his most famous piece of work was London's Red Telephone Box. It's no longer a power station now, as is the Tate Art Gallery of Modern Art. It is free to go in over there, but if you've ever seen modern art, you'll know why it's free. St Paul's on our left hand side, Christopher Wren's masterpiece. Took him 35 years to build, completed in 1710. Stands 365 feet tall, 1 foot for each day of the year. And Christopher Wren is buried in St Paul's, and above his tomb is a Latin inscription which roughly translates, "If you seek me, look about you." And it refers to over 150 of Wren's churches and buildings he built in his lifetime. This is the Wibbly Wobbly Bridge we're just passing beneath, or the Millennium Footbridge. Swayed rather dangerously when it was first opened. Doesn't sway no more though. On our right hand side is a small cream coloured building with a red painted door. Now that's 49 Cardinals Wharf Bankside, and that's where Christopher Wren lived while St Paul's was under construction. Now the white timber frame building on our right with a thatched roof is a replica of William Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. Was started off by Sam Wanamaker, the Hollywood actor, film producer, director. Was all done in the old traditional methods as well, not one power tool was used over here. And you can go and see Shakespeare's plays performed in the open air, it's the open air theatre, performed in the round through the summer months. Now this bridge ahead of us is the Southwark Road Bridge. Now it's the least used bridge to span the River Thames. They say the approach roads are so hard to find that not many Londoners actually know this bridge exists. So if you do see anyone up there, give them a wave, they're probably lost. In the right hand corner of the bridge is a set of stairs. Now these is called Southwark Causeway, and there's a royal charter placed upon them, which means they can never be taken away. We call them Wren Steps because these are the ones that Christopher Wren would have travelled down every day to get his ferry to St Paul's. Now the remains of the original Globe Theatre was found just on our right hand side underneath this smoked glass building, which is the Financial Times headquarters. In the right hand corner of the bridge you'll see the anchor of Bankside Public House. There's been a public house on this site for over 800 years, and it was in one of the old Banksides that William Shakespeare had a changing room when performing at the old Globe Theatre. This is the Cannon Street Railway Bridge just passing beneath, serves Cannon Street Station, which is just over on our left hand side. Once through the bridge on our right you'll see the old Thames side, Public Inn, stands on Pickford's Wharf. The pub's about 25 years old, but the old warehouse is well over 100 years old. It was one of the first ones to be converted. On our right you'll see a vessel in wet dock over here. Now this is a replica of Sir Francis Drake vessel, the Golden Hind. Now the original circumnavigated the world once. This replica has already been round the world twice. You can go aboard her for a small charge to see what it was like to live and work on a sailing ship during the days of Elizabeth I. They're actually saving up to do their third round the world trip. Now still on our right is a gap in the buildings. You'll be able to see Southwark Cathedral, London's second oldest cathedral. It's in here that Edmund Shakespeare, the younger brother to William, is buried. And a young boy was baptised here by the name of John Harvard, and he later went off to America to become one of the founders of the Harvard University. New London Bridge, we're about to pass beneath, opened in 1973 by Her Majesty the Queen. We've had a number of bridges that stood on this site. Some have burned down, some have fell down. The Vikings pulled a few of them down. The last one, we took it down stone by stone, shipped it off to America, where it was re-erected over the man-made lake, Lake Havasu, on the edge of the Arizona desert as a tourist attraction. Now on our left hand side, coming in between the gap in the buildings, you'll be able to see Christopher Wren's monument to the Great Fire of London. It represents a burning candle, and it will take you 311 steps to get up to that viewing platform. It stands 202 foot tall, and if you lay it down in a rough direction on which we're travelling, it's said to lay at a doorstep of a little baker's shop in Pudding Lane, where the Great Fire of London started in 1666. Ahead of us, Tower Bridge is actually raised up at the moment to allow this Thames sailing barge, the Will, to make her way down. But on our left is a sandy coloured building with sloping roofs and goldfish for weather vanes at each end. Now this is the old Billingsgate Fish Market. There was a fish market on this site for over 900 years, and it was most famous in the early hours of the morning for its fresh fish and its foul language off of its porters. They've been given new premises down in the Docklands, but you still receive the same service. On our right we have the Shard, Europe's tallest building, just over 1,000 feet tall. Consists of offices, apartments, restaurants, a 200-room, 5-star Shangri-La hotel, and an observation platform on the 77th floor, which will cost you £25 in advance to go up there, and £19 for children. So it's sky-high prices for a sky-high view. They won't adopt that motto, I don't think, no. On our left, this is Waterguard House, Customs House. If you've ever tried to smuggle any illegal contraband into this country and it's confiscated from you, it is stored over in the basement over here and then incinerated. I've worked out here for nigh on 30 years on this river. I've never seen a bit of smoke come out of them 6 chimneys, but their Christmas parties are legendary. They go on for weeks. Now this vessel on our right, this is HMS Belfast. It was the largest of the light battle cruisers built for the Royal Navy. She was launched in 1938 in Harlinden Wharf, Belfast, by Mrs. Neville Chamberlain. Her main armament are 12 6-inch guns capable of firing a shell over a distance of 14 land miles. She helped in the chasing and the eventual sinking of the German pocket battleship, the Scharnhorst, and she last fired her guns in anger during the Korean campaign. She's now permanently moored here and open 7 days a week as a museum to British naval power. Now behind the stern of the Wellington is a building. It's quite often to be referred to as a crash helmet shape, but this is the London Assembly City Hall. It's our very first City Hall that we've ever had in London as well, and it's the offices of our London Mayor, Boris the Bike Johnson. On our left is London's most famous landmark, the Tower of London. Now work started here in 1078 by William the Conqueror. The oldest part of the tower is the Norman Keep. That's the building in the centre with the 4 turrets. In the past the tower has been a fortress, a mint, a prison, a menagerie, a zoo, nowadays more famous for housing the crown jewels. On the embankment wall you'll see the bricked up entry to the Traitors' Gate. After Traitors was tried and condemned in the old palace of Westminster, they was rowed down river, taken through this gateway where they was imprisoned and then awaited public execution upon Tower Hill or Tower Green, depending on your status. Right, this is Tower Bridge just ahead of us, if you've seen, was just opened to allow the sailing ship out of the Pool of London. Built in 1894, designed by Sir John Wolfe Barry. You see the 2 centre bascles, they weigh over 1,100 tons each and can be raised in just over a minute to allow the shipping in and out of the Pool of London. Now the only time these bascles ever failed to open was on the opening ceremony when a sailing ship hit the bridge. Since that day, Tower Bridge has been registered with Lloyd's of London, and being registered with that famous company, she carries a complement of crew of a captain, engineer and first officer. Right, we're just going to turn the boat around and make a brief stop at St Catherine's Pier to pick up some more passengers that wish to make their way down to Greenwich. So we're just going to make a quick stop here. So this is not Greenwich, please don't leave the boat. And if you haven't understood a word I've said, this is not Greenwich, please don't leave the boat. We'll be back with you soon.
Oh, you want to get that there? that though.
cái này như là cái đồ bia nó nấu ăn